What is up, Eagles Nation? We are back to preview the front office's approach to a crucial 2020 draft. Now the smoke has cleared and the rumours have circulated, it's time to predict who might hear their name called when the commissioner sidles up to his virtual podium. We know from previous years that Eagles typically have about 100 to 150 names on their board entering draft night, which means around 15 to 20 first round names stacked in a list somewhere in Howie Roseman's house. Their board will be separated into tiers, so let's get things started with the top tier of elite prospects. Number 1. Oklahoma wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Looking back on this offseason, it will be clear the Eagles had 3 opportunities to elevate the offense from good to great. Trades for DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs never materialised, but perhaps to preserve resources to target the draft's best playmaker. Lamb's blend of outrageous lower body strength and explosive athleticism is rare. He consistently separates from defensive backs with his quickness and acceleration alone, without the need for advanced route running technique. As a ball carrier, Lamb is as good as any running back in terms of pure lower body power, allowing him to shed tackles and drag defenders all over the field. At the catch point, Lamb's hands are exceptional, including when forced to play through contact or take a hit over the middle. Tired of these trash receivers? Hope Roseman works the phones into the top half of the first round. Number 2. Edge defender, Chase Young, Ohio State. The Eagles need an edge rusher, and Chase Young projects as a Pro Bowl end for years to come. He consistently lived in NCAA backfields due to his quickness off the snap, beating tackles with a mixture of speed and refined hand usage. Young excels executing inside moves when he perceives an opportunity, with a ton of counter moves when his initial move is shut down. Elite edge rushers don't last long in the draft though, so expect Young to be unreachable. Number 3. Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle, Alabama. With their long-term future on the left side resolved, the Eagles are in a somewhat unique position to value right-sided tackles more than other franchises. After the disaster of trying to use Andre Dillard on the opposite side in 2019, it would be wise to invest in the future behind Lane Johnson. Wills could equally slide into either guard position if needed, offering flexibility behind the starters on the interior. He's a great scheme fit with his combination of physicality and athleticism. Much is expected of the right tackle in their scheme to block in space, and Wills thrives at the second level and on screens out on the perimeter. There's a chance he could slide, but the Eagles cannot afford to invest the extra resources to find depth and long-term security on the offensive line. Isaiah Simmons, safety, Clemson. Simmons is an unorthodox assessment because of the unique hybrid role he played at Clemson, but his instincts and athleticism make him a day one starter in the secondary for any scheme. Insane speed gives him the range to fly sideline to sideline from centre field. Freaky ability to change direction and unbelievable instincts for a 21-year-old make him a dominant presence in the box. Simmons is so consistent, especially as a tackler. He has a complete skill set with very few weaknesses in his game. The Eagles are pretty desperate for safety help, especially in the box with the departure of Malcolm Jenkins, but Simmons' stock and lower positional value will leave him out of reach Thursday. That concludes our group of elite difference makers. There's a drop off to the next tier of day one starters. Number 5. Derek Brown, defensive tackle, Auburn. If not for heavy investment in defensive tackles, Derek Brown would be high on the list of Eagles' priorities. The signing of Javon Hargrave minimises the likelihood of Howie targeting a tackle in the first round, but the front office would have to consider it if Brown was sitting on the board at 21. Brown can bully and embarrass in equal measure, due to his rare blend of power and lateral agility. A genuine playmaker as a pass rusher, using both power and finesse moves, who can eat run games whole, is always going to be popular in the Eagles' war room. The resources for this position are sadly already spent, however, so expect the team to look elsewhere. Number 6. Jeffrey Okudah, Cornerback, Ohio State. Despite their desperation for corner help, none of the top prospects especially fit what Jim Schwartz is looking for. The Eagles likely feel the same, considering their investment in a pair of corners in the offseason, trading for Darius Slay and signing nickel Robey-Coleman. Okudah would be most suitable, considering his ball skills and tenacity challenging underneath routes. He's probably the best of the bunch as an off-man corner, the technique Schwartz prefers. Okudah attacks the line of scrimmage in the short areas of the field and is a good enough open field tackler to eliminate plays around the line of scrimmage. Like the majority of defensive players atop the draft board, Okudah will likely be gone before the Eagles enter the conversation. Number 7. Xavier McKinney, safety, Alabama. Unlike the defensive players above him on the list, McKinney might legitimately still be on the board at 21. He would be outstanding value at that point in the first round, immediately improving the Eagles' secondary. McKinney generated a ridiculous number of big plays at Alabama, and is more than competent in the box, even aligning at linebacker in some of the Crimson Tide's nickel packages. McKinney is probably the safety with the most authority in this class. He can be an enforcer over the middle and shallow zones against the pass. His playmaking skills and centre field range are also likely to appeal, even if the safety in the first round feels unlikely. Number 8. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU. There's every chance the Eagles view Justin Jefferson as the second best receiver in this class. Many teams might view him as a slot threat exclusively, but I think Doug Pederson and Carson Wentz might view the situation differently. Jefferson is an ideal fit in the West Coast offense, emerging from a pro-style system at LSU. His catch radius, shiftiness in the open field, and smooth hands are going to appeal to a coaching staff that prefer efficiency over big plays. Jefferson might not generate a ton of separation with his athletic traits, but he can slide into the offense from day one and be consistently productive. Number 9. Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. Jeudy is a top prospect, but I don't see him making as big of an impact as former Crimson Tide receivers Amari Cooper or Calvin Ridley. His route running is outstanding, but he still doesn't match Ridley's ridiculous level in that department. Jeudy's hands can be a little sloppy at times, but he's otherwise a complete prospect who can thrive in the slot or on the perimeter. He seems ideal for heavy play-action offenses that like to use longer developing routes to generate chunk plays. Regardless, his overall talent and versatility will make him appealing to all 32 teams, ensuring the Eagles still have him firmly entrenched on their board. Number 10. Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle at Arkansas. Rounding out the solid starter group, Kinlaw also falls into the category of freakish interior presence. When he gets going, not even double teams can stop him. No interior defender wrecked double teams on a more consistent basis, giving a glimpse of Kinlaw's talent. He's gigantic, athletic and powerful, a dominant presence on the interior, virtually unblockable over the nose. Although Kinlaw didn't play to his potential consistently, there are signs of a ruthless streak emerging with experience. As with Brown, however, the Eagles can't really afford to invest more resources bolstering a position that's seen so many reinforcements. The top 10 concludes the group of day one starters. In the next tier are the down-the-line difference makers. Number 11, Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle, Iowa. Wirfs' versatility to play on both sides could be much coveted by an offensive line still looking for a swing tackle. He played at each tackle spot in the same game and at times at Iowa. While not quite as proficient in space as Wills, Wirfs offers more on inline blocks. He's well suited to running combination blocks in the Eagles' zone scheme from his experience at college. He can be dominating pass protection at the next level through excellent technique and hand placement in particular. Just like Wills, he could also play guard if needed. Number 12. Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver, Alabama. There's no substitute for speed. The Eagles are still desperate for a dynamic vertical threat to expand the offense. That said, the position needs an overhaul in general, rather than needing just one specific player type. Ruggs is tremendous in the short game and on vertical shot plays, but the other aspects of his game remain a bit of a project. He adjusts nicely to deep balls and has above average hands, but he won't be winning many contested catches and is understandably a minimal factor on underneath routes. He could contribute as a rookie, but I'm not sure he would come in as a starter immediately. Number 13, Clavon Chaisson, edge defender LSU. Chaisson is the best speed rusher in the draft, even if his production didn't match his talent. Crucially, he was decisive in big game moments, feasting in obvious pass rushing situations towards the end of regulation time. Despite limited experience, he's developed a wicked spin move that tormented the SEC consistently a season ago. Chaisson's explosion to close on the quarterback is also exceptional. And while he wasn't a run defender by any stretch, he more than held his own at the point of attacking. At last we come to the final tier of prospects, those with elite potential. Number 14, Denzel Mims, wide receiver, Baylor. The Eagles love players who shine at the Senior Bowl. Mims proved he was the best of the bunch down in Mobile, which is especially important considering he'll have a ton to learn in the NFL. Baylor's route concepts are about as simple as it gets, so it would be unlikely Mims would come in and make an immediate impact, but he fits the profile of the Eagles' preference for bigger-bodied athletes on the perimeter. Mims is outstanding at generating separation with physicality at the top of his route, while also retaining the ability to run away from defenders. He'd be a good option if all the top targets are gone and the Eagles are able to make a trade down. Number 15, Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville. Becton is a man monster relative to the other tackles on the list. Huge maulers with quick feet aren't common, and the majority of Becton's errors were of the mental variety rather than physical limitations. He has amongst the best highlight tapes of any college offensive lineman I've seen, ragdolling linebackers for fun. Taking a developmental tackle lacking positional versatility with the benefit of a trade down would be more palatable, even though it's less than ideal. So here it is, the final Eagles first round 2020 big board. Have a great night all and see you on the other side.